So here we're checking out the Whip Pro diesel heater. Now this is a all-in-one heater that pretty much is great for camping. Hook it up to your tent, heat up your tent. Emergency heat for the house if you got it set up correctly. And if you're like me, I'm thinking of putting together a travel van for like that van life type of traveling, and I want to put it together myself. This could be a vital component to being warm in the travel van without relying on the car's engine or the car's batteries. So even though it's diesel, it has the capability of running off of, I believe, 12 volts. So it comes with everything you need. So here is the 110 volt transformer, and you could run it off pretty much this. So this could be wired into your house, because since it's diesel, you need to heat up a glow plug to get it running. And this is why you need the electricity. It could also be hooked up with batteries. So in this accessory kit, remember, this comes with everything. Have all the clamps to make the connections for the hot air intake to the exhaust, all the clamps you need. And here should be, oh, here it goes. Here are wires that you could hook up to a battery, or you could even splice this to a cigarette lighter and hook it up to one of those power, portable power units. That could be in a van or at a campsite or an emergency in the house if you lose power. So you're all set up to have like emergency backup heat that is efficient, because diesel could last a really long time with this on the low setting. Very efficient cost-wise. It has a silencer plus exhaust that hooks up to the exhaust. So if you were hooking up to a van, you would have an access hole this big and dump it out the bottom of the van, and you're good to go. In this case, I'm gonna get this running inside the house, and temporary, I'm gonna have this out this window with the exhaust. So you'll see that in this video if you stick around with it, or you stick along with it. Now, it has full LCD screen controls here, very simple, on, off, up, down. I guess it has a diagnostic and an OK button. This is where you put the fuel. So nice secure cap, nice little pre-filter for diesel. So we'll be filling that up soon. Even comes with a nifty little remote. So let's say you do have this hooked up in a particular spot, you know, let's say outside the tent, and you're inside the tent, you could control it from inside the tent. If you're inside the van and you have this like in a little cabinet in the back of the van, secured, installed, you don't have to rush to the heater, contort yourself to work settings. You could just be wireless operation with this. This is cool. I didn't realize that this would have something like that with it. All the components you need, easy to read instructions, you know, easy steps. So I'm gonna put this together and let's see how it comes out. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn it this way. So on this side, I have the hot air intake. I have a little expansion hose that this comes with. You could get aftermarket depending how you're gonna run it. And it comes with this air directional, I guess, diffuser. You could turn it, point the air, whether you want it coming low, high, medium. Has a fuel gauge here. So up to 8 liters. and clearly see here. I'm only going to add a little bit of diesel. So the power input is like 40 watts. It puts out 8K watts. It's diesel, DC 12 volt. That's the supply voltage, DC 24 volt, all in one. So let's hook up the exhaust, and I plan to run it out this window. So I'm basically gonna take shortcut and mock everything up. I'm not gonna put hose clamps or anything because this is not a permanent thing. So that's the beauty of this. You could set it up in an emergency situation, temporary situation. And let's move this here. So now my exhaust is pointing out. I could close this like this. Now I could put foam blocking this, but this is just for demonstration purposes only. And it will be pretty much good enough. So I have it plugged into the wall, and the exhaust is running out. Warm air intake is pointing in. I should be ready to go. I'm going to fill it with fuel, and of course it's diesel fuel. So I hear knocking, the airflow out the inlet, which I'm gonna call the hot air side. That's supposed to blow into the space you're gonna heat, not the exhaust. It's picked up a little bit. I got a little fan speed. We're letting it prime, letting it do its thing. So while it's still igniting, let's talk about these convenient handles that fold down for easy storage, and fold up. This way you could carry the unit. Pretty cool. It has a base with 4 holes so that you could clamp this down so that it's steady. So you can actually mount it. You don't have to come up with straps and jerry-rig stuff. So that's very convenient. You know, they thought of a lot of stuff, and all in one unit, ready to go. Now I think I hear flame. You can probably hear that. Now I kind of hear like the flame kick on. The air intake here is blowing a little bit more substantial. I'm getting a hint of a little smell. The initial burn is going to be burning a lot of chemicals and stuff from the factory, so it should be smelly, the first burn. Now I'm getting a little heat out of the blower here. So definitely a little heat. So now I think this thing is fired up. I definitely hear flame inside, and it's getting warmer pretty quickly out of this side. I hear initially it should be smoking out the exhaust, the first burn or on startup, but I don't get a sense of it. Now definitely it's blowing in nice hot air. I would say it's pretty decent force. Maybe it's on high setting, the fan, not sure. I'm a leave it as is. I am getting like a smell of a first startup, you know, a little bit of a chemicalish smell, not really a diesel smell. So I have a temp gauge, so let's take some initial readings while this is just started up. So the table is 71 degrees, that's almost room temperature. The pipe, 126. 127 should be rising, so definitely at the entrance it's 131 and it feels nice and warm, 131. The exhaust pipe is pumping out at 265, so it's definitely cooking there, 274. The sound level, like I said, I have a pellet stove. This is slightly quieter than the pellet stove, and the pellet stove definitely has a couple of more fans going on than this. This inside a van, for like van life or a tent, this is crazy. This is like a lot of heat for just a little bit of time with just a little bit of fuel. I could see the efficiency of this. Woo! Even the plastic part is a little warm. We're getting 169, 164, 169, 176. Definitely feels all of it. Super toasty. So if it was a snowstorm in the winter, power goes out, I'm cold, I don't have to be cold. Put this together, 1, 2, 3, I could get the glow plug and the electronics running off a battery, a power source, and I'll be good to go. Comfortable in a bad situation. So for emergency heat, convenient, low noise. It's in its initial burn, and I just get a hint of chemical burnt. At first startup, I got a little bit of hint of diesel, but then my exhaust is not 100% sealed. It's pointing outside the window, but I could insulate that with some cardboard or some foam away from it and seal it up better. Much better job. So I'm standing about 5 feet away, and I definitely get some airflow. So just to give you an idea of how much airflow is coming through there. So I have this, right? That's blowing pretty good. So we're like 3 feet away, 4 feet away, 5 feet away. Let me take it out of a little hint. Bigger, bigger. It's definitely moving. I could be out here, it's definitely moving. So this is putting a lot of wind and air throughout the house. So it's basically pumping it throughout the space. Really good. If I build my van, which I most likely plan to, definitely, if not this, one of these are going into my van for sure. And I'll be nice and toasty. So thanks for watching, and put this in your cart and buy with confidence.